I'd like to just build on some questions regarding the South Australian announcement on the hydrogen plant, probably for the Murray-Darling Basin Authority. Have you been formally advised by the South Australian Government that that's their intention?
No, Senator, we have not.
This is more a process question. Would you expect to be, given the SDL limits and the current arrangements that are in place?
No, I wouldn't think so, Senator. It is a task for South Australia to ensure that whatever activities they undertake fit within the existing SDL framework. It would be. I would imagine, South Australia at some point, if they were to progress, may consult with us in terms of, where they currently sit. In the same way that if infrastructure was being built in another state, a dam or otherwise, the states would consult with us. But the requirement, in accord with the basin plan, is that whatever activity is undertaken fits within the SDL framework and the sustainable diversion limits that have been established.
Leave aside advising you out of courtesy. I'm asking in the context of being technical. So what would be the trigger point where they would have to consult with you?
It's more a question of review, Senator, than consultation. So an annual process of review is undertaken by the MDBA. So that is the review point. The requirement exists under the basin plan that there should be compliance with the SDL. So there's no formal requirement of consultation in undertaking a particular activity.
So in regards to the use of the water, at the moment, it's purely within the remit of the state?
Within the context of the states have submitted their water resource plans, which has set down how they are going to manage those resources in the frame of the established sustainable diversion limits and the environmentally sustainable level of take, yes.
So if the state government decides it's going to need this water for whatever purpose, but in this case a hydrogen plant, it has to take into account its existing submission to yourselves on its water resource plans.
Correct, Senator. So it would have to take.
I appreciate it's my language, but I'm just trying to.
Sure. No, that's fine, Senator. So South Australia has its water resource plans, and whatever activity it undertakes would have to be in accord with that.
Yeah, and so if for whatever reason, this project or any other, it causes it to have to change the plan, that's when it gets involved with you.
Yeah, I'll ask Mr Goods to comment in a bit more detail, but again, whatever activity the state chooses to undertake has to be consistent with its existing SDLs. Tim, do you want to add anything further?
Thanks. Tim Goods, Executive Director, Murray-Darling Basin Authority. So not to repeat what Mr McConville said, but so the SA Water infrastructure can be used to deliver water from a number of sources, just one of which is from water pumped from the river. But whatever the purpose is, it will fit within the licence conditions that SA Water has under the state water law, and that's up to South Australia to determine.
Yes, I was reflecting on, there's a public statement by the Conservation Council of South Australia, and he asked this question sort of publicly. That's when the big questions get asked about where we prioritise our water for human consumption, for environment, for irrigators, I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, and for industrial users. So at this point, that is a South Australian debate, if I understand it correctly.
Correct.
Yes, not necessarily a national debate at this point in time. Can I just move to the Department and the Minister? Have the Department or the Minister been formally advised of this intention to build a hydrogen plant and use Murray River water, I should say?
So we don't think so, Senator, but we'll take it on notice.
So can I just ask for it on notice?
Yeah, very happy to.
I'll come to my Mr Beasley questions in due course, but if you could also take that on notice if the SA Water Commissioner in this context has advised you, since there's ongoing dialogue. And that's the context in which I'm asking, not for any other reason. Just bear with me for a moment because I want to try to complete the hydrogen plant topic at the moment. Would there be, just to you, Mr Fredericks, when the department or anyone in the department sees an announcement like that, does that trigger from your side any engagement with the South Australian Government?
So, Senator, what I can say, wearing my hat
for the department as a whole
Yes.
is in relation to that South Australian project, my officers have had some preliminary discussions about that project. It's very early days.
Yes.
It will need to be considered in the context of other government processes. So in many ways, that project for the department as a whole doesn't come as any surprise.
Yes.
I don't know whether any of the particular Murray-Darling Basin water issues arose in any of those discussions.
Right.
I'll take it on notice as to whether they did.
I appreciate that on notice. I was coming from the point of view of process, because I know there's the formal process and then there's the ongoing, which I would encourage, ongoing dialogue between the department, and I appreciate that could cross over from an infrastructure perspective.
Yeah.
There's also talk of a desalination plant, so I know that there are other stakeholders involved. So where I'm coming from is if you take on notice in regards to water and water usage, has your department had engagement? And if it's in confidence, obviously you're going to apply. If not, can I ask for the correspondence if it's in that form? Or the exchange.
That's fair.
So that gives you a chance. And if you want to claim public interest immunity, we can go through that at the next estimates. Is that fine? Is that fair?
Sure is.
I don't have anything more on hydrogen, so I'll hand back